all know by now that Donald Trump's grotesque military birthday parade was a complete and total failure. And it was like this double whammy, right? Because not only did he have these pathetically small crowds that turned out, I saw reporting that it was 10,000. 10,000 people. Now, the White House is trying to claim that it was 250,000.
Right? And please, just don't go anywhere, because we got a lot cooking.
Where are the people?
Yeah, that's embarrassing. It's like the White House forgot that all of this was being televised and that there's plenty of video evidence that the crowds were just non-existent. Do you know why the White House is using that figure, 250,000, as what they're claiming is the turnout? It's because last time we had a big military parade in Washington, D.C. was 1991 with the conclusion of Desert Storm. We had about 9,000 service members who marched in D.C. to mark the end of the Gulf War. According to NPR, there was actually this debate inside the Bush administration at the time as to whether it would be appropriate to do such a thing. Ultimately, Bush decided that they needed to have this parade to avoid what he called Vietnam War syndrome, which is where after the Vietnam War ended, the American populace developed a really negative view of the military and of veterans. And he was trying to prevent that from occurring. So he thought this parade will somehow magically make everybody think that soldiers are heroes and they will want to defend our veterans and have a positive view of the military going forward. But that parade had 200,000 people that turned up to watch it. And so Trump has to make sure that the numbers he reports are even bigger. But please, 250,000 when the actual number was 10,000. And honestly, y'all, the parade itself seemed really sad. The way that it was televised on Fox News did not make it look grand at all. It definitely didn't make Trump look powerful. Honestly, it didn't make our army look that great either, which is, I'm not a big fan of the military. I absolutely believe we should take care of our veterans. My dad was in the Air Force for 30 years, and I have a very complicated view of our military. But I do think it is sad and unfortunate that Trump co-opted the 250th anniversary of the military in order to use our service members as his pawns, use them as props, along with $45 to $90 million of our taxpayer money for his own, grandiose self-indulgence. And that's sad. That's unfortunate. And I know that one of my kids and I were talking about how the soldiers didn't look that highly skilled. Their marching was not that great to watch. It was a little uncoordinated. They were out of step. A high school marching band could do it better. And my 17-year-old was like, well, the service members aren't actually trained to march in parades like this. This is not a thing that they do on the regular, like they do in fascist regimes when it's all about this big public display to make the leader look super powerful. But also Knitting Cult Lady had a really interesting perspective on this. I've turned my husband onto her channel and now he's a big fan, by the way. So he was talking to me about it earlier today and he was like, she was saying that maybe there's some malicious compliance going on with the folks who marched in that parade, because if you're putting a unit out there, 100% of them are not going to be Trump fans. They're going to be forced to march in this parade. That doesn't mean that they can't engage in some malicious compliance. I really like that way of thinking of it, that there are those small acts that anybody can do, government employees can do to push back against this regime, to make a point. Even if they have to do that job, they can still make a point through malicious compliance. So thanks, Daniela, for mentioning that, because I think there's a lot of merit to that. So thank you, Daniela, for mentioning that, because I think that that's very plausible. But I want to show you my very favorite clip. I know it's gone really viral, but I have to show it again. I think that clip is going to go down in history as representing Donald Trump's birthday military parade. The squeaky, sad little tank, the fact that the crowd was completely silent and also so sparse. So many holes in the bleachers. Nobody showed up, y'all. Right, like this, 1 block from the White House, the aspirational security line set up, but just nobody there. And this image, the parade going, and there's nobody on the sidelines, just nobody. Here's another shot. No crowds, y'all. Of course, this image also has gone very viral. Trump was not having a good time. I know we were all hoping that Trump's parade was going to get canceled because of thunderstorms, but honestly, y'all, this is way better. Trump had been dreaming of doing this since 2017. In fact, he tried to have a big, fancy military birthday parade for himself in 2018, and his advisors were able to shut it down. He wanted to take the Bastille Day parade in France and reconstitute it here in the States, but to have it be 100% in honor of him, in adoration of him as a dictator. He wanted the massive crowds, he wanted the huge spectacle. So, what a win for us for this parade to actually happen and for it to be completely embarrassing, an absolute failure for Trump. What a blow to his fragile, fragile ego. And interestingly enough, the reports of such a low attendance of 10,000 people included some reporting from NBC that large numbers of people made an early exit, and that NBC journalists captured a video of a log jam of spectators trying to leave a secured area early. It was reported that heavy security at the event made it difficult for people to leave, and lots of folks were like, we don't want to be here anymore, let's leave. According to the New York Times, quote, hordes of people streamed east across the mall trying to leave before Trump and Vance were scheduled to deliver remarks. John Ismay from the New York Times described the crowd and the parade as, quote, pretty listless and low energy. People said that they showed up to celebrate the army, not to celebrate Donald Trump, and that they were not happy with how things went down. In fact, there were protesters there who said they had signs on saying that they were at the parade to celebrate the army, and they were not there. They were making it very clear, we are here to celebrate and support the army. We are not here for Donald Trump. So even amongst the paltry turnout, how many of those folks were there with no intention to celebrate Trump? The optics for this could not be any better for the pro-democracy movement. Trump is desperate to convince everybody that he's big and strong and powerful and inevitable, that nobody can stand in his way, that he can shake down and intimidate and bully whoever he wants, and nobody can stop him. He's constantly telling everybody how popular he is. He's overinflating all of his poll numbers. He's trying to make it sound like the people are behind him. And we had this huge showing in two big different ways yesterday that the people absolutely are not. They are abandoning him. At the parade itself, people are abandoning him. They're not bothering to show up. There are millions and millions of Trump voters within a couple of hours drive of DC, and they could not be bothered. They could not be bothered to show up for this event. But Trump is trying to tell everybody that he's adored and that people basically worship him, that he's super, super popular, super powerful, super inevitable, that his reign is strong, that he has the support of the people. Like, it's just not convincing anymore. Any of the pillars of support under Trump, any of the institutions, the corporations, any of the politicians who have been propping Trump up are now seeing that, like, oh God, nobody likes him, nobody is rooting for him. The people actually don't care about him at all. So you have this like indifference on one hand of like, he's not even worth it, guys. Like we don't want to spend money. We don't want to spend the energy. We do not care. We just do not care. From the folks who are supposed to be Trump supporters, from the folks who are supposed to be enthusiastic about him. He's supposed to be their dear leader. They can't be bothered. And then on the other hand is this huge resistance movement of millions and millions of people. Again, the tallies are not yet all in. Somewhere between 6 and 12 million people showed up actively protesting against the Trump regime. So you have supporters who can't be bothered, and then you have the opposition that is motivated. They've got the energy, they have the momentum, they are building numbers, they are massive, standing against Trump, vocally speaking out, organizing, planning, working for democracy and against Trump. What a resounding condemnation of Trump. What a 1-2 punch. This parade just highlighted what a complete loser he is, how his reign is going to be a very short duration, how he has no support. He's not popular. He's not powerful. He's not adored. He's not smart. He's not sophisticated. And the opposition against him is not only massive, it is growing by the day. So I don't know about y'all, but I'm super, super pleased with how that went down.